the cutest. That's the cutest.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Alexander Ayling. Welcome to the channel. In this video, I'll be talking about the process of getting my daughter dual citizenship to New Zealand and the United States. So if you're new here, quick recap of my story. I was born in the USA. My dad is from New Zealand. I currently live in New Zealand with my wife. We recently had a child, our daughter Eliana, and she is eligible for dual citizenship to New Zealand and the United States. Now, her case is a little bit different than mine. Basically, I was born in the US to a New Zealand citizen, but because I was born in the United States, I'm automatically a citizen of the United States. My mom is from the US, and I'm a citizen of New Zealand by descent. That basically means that I am a citizen, but my children, if born outside of New Zealand, would no longer be eligible for citizenship in New Zealand. So one of the factors that influenced our move here to New Zealand a few years ago was we wanted to have a family, and I, being a citizen of New Zealand, wanted to extend citizenship to New Zealand and the United States to my children. This is kind of a quick recap of what that process was like and some of the benefits of being a dual citizen, as well as a little bit of a vlog towards the end, the last few steps of obtaining dual citizenship for our daughter. So you may be asking yourself, what's the big deal with dual citizenship? Why is it important? Well, it's basically just all about options. Giving choices to our children is really important. And one of the biggest choices of all is choosing where to live and where to work. I've made a living the last decade creating travel content here on YouTube, hosting a television show. Travel is a huge element of my life. And both passports, the USA and New Zealand, are quite strong travel passports, offering visa-free travel to 188 and 187 countries respectively. You may be asking yourself, how are passports ranked? Well, there's a thing called the Nomad Passport Index, and this takes into account multiple factors to come up with a score for the strength, the overall strength of a passport. 50% of that is made up by visa-free travel, 20% is made up by taxation, 10% is made up by global perception, another 10% is made up by the ability to hold dual nationality, and then another 10% is made up for personal freedom, freedom of the press, mandatory military service, etc., etc. New Zealand is currently ranked 6th. It's tied with a number of other countries, including Italy, where my wife has the ability to become a citizen if that is something we'd like to do. Who knows? It could be the next chapter in our life stories. And the United States was currently tied with Brazil, ranked 44. It's lowest in recent years for a number of different reasons. So the vlog clips later in this video are gonna show what it's like applying for US citizenship from abroad. If you are a US citizen who has a child abroad, there are a couple of different little loops you have to jump through in order to register your child's birth abroad and to file for citizenship for your child. That'll all be covered later on in this video, so stay tuned. Now, filing for her New Zealand citizenship was a pretty straightforward process. Eliana was born here in New Zealand. I am a New Zealand citizen living in New Zealand. My wife, although she is an American citizen, has a visa to live here, and so Eliana became a citizen of New Zealand upon her birth. Filing for her citizenship was pretty straightforward. First, we just needed to file for the birth certificate, and then once we had a copy of the birth certificate, we were able to go through a pretty straightforward process online and file for her passport. Currently a little bit of a delay with the passport services here in New Zealand, but her passport was processed, we have it, and the day that her passport came was super emotional. It really felt like the culmination of many years of work and sacrifice and challenges all coming together with solidifying that passport, not only for our daughter Eliana, but for her children. Oh my gosh, it's so cute.
the cutest. It's the cutest.
Is he your passport, baby? This is your passport. Look at you.
He's smiling. Yeah,
Oh my God.
that's yours.
So with our daughter's New Zealand citizenship secured, the next step was getting her United States citizenship and passport, because we are going back to visit family in the USA in a couple of weeks now. So we are a little bit down to the wire, but this is how that all played out. Check it out.
Eliana's first flight. We are here in Wellington.
We're gonna have a little 24-hour Auckland escapade. Say hello to the cousin. My cousin lives up there. She just had a baby, so the baby, second cousins, third cousins are gonna get to meet.
The main reason why we're going there is to get this one's passport for the US. We just got her New Zealand.
And now she needs her American.
Made the executive decision to leave the stroller in the car. That was the big thing right now. We said, we're just doing the carrier. She loves the carrier. So we left the stroller, we checked the car seat, and we've got carry-on only, besides the car seat, which you can't, I guess you can carry on if you have a seat for, but we don't have a seat, it's just gonna be on the lap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just first time travel things.
Things we're learning.
It's good though. How we doing?
Good.
Good.
Had to run over here.
Yeah, last people on the plane. The absolute last people on the plane. I don't know how that happened, but it did.
Even though we were here like
Yeah,
bright and early.
2 hours early.
It's because she like needed a diaper change at the last minute. So I figured we'd change it out there instead of in here.
Good call. Little baby sleeping in there. It's 7 a.m., woke up at 5:30, did a 5K run, had a shower, and now we are all ready to go. We have all the documentation, hopefully, that we need. There's a lot of it, lots of little hoops to jump through, but we have our passports, we have Eliana's New Zealand passport, her birth certificate, our birth certificates, lots of documentation, and we're gonna walk over to get some breakfast and a coffee at a nice little spot, and then we have an 8:30 appointment at the US consulate to file the paperwork to register her birth abroad, which is the first step in registering her for her United States citizenship and passport. The good news is you can do both of those things, registering the birth abroad and registering for a new passport, a US passport, her very first. You can do that at the same time in the same appointment. So yes, I'm baby wearing to the consulate meeting. My wife carried her for 9 months. This is the least I can do. Let's go. Don't often do cities nowadays, living in the countryside, but when I do, I like to do a city in the early morning. Everybody's waking up, streets are clean, you know, they just sprayed them down, but we're on our way over to the consulate, and it's gonna be a good day. So we actually walked into the consulate about a half an hour early. Didn't even realize, you know, just thinking, oh, we'll get there early. And the guy was like, you can just stand in a line for the next half hour. So now we left, and now we're just walking around. Window shopping, you know, as you do. Fingers crossed that the person who's handling our case is in a good mood because they've had the weekend, you know? Let's see. All right, well, we are back in the hotel and it's been a successful morning. We managed to get the goals, both of them achieved today. Basically, we applied for...
I'm here to join you.
2 things at once. We did the first step towards getting Eliana's U.S. passport and citizenship. In order to get her U.S. passport, because she was born abroad here in New Zealand, we needed to come to the United States consulate. The embassy is in the capital, Wellington, but they don't do passport services, so we had to come to Auckland, which is not the capital of New Zealand, but is New Zealand's largest city. So we went to the consulate this morning. We had an 8:30 a.m. appointment, first thing, bright and early on a Monday morning, and we filed the paperwork for a document which essentially calls for the verification of a birth abroad. I will put what that document is actually called here because I don't remember. And then at the same time, we were able to file for the paperwork for her first passport. Now,
Interesting thing.
there were a couple of
We're in a little bit of a conundrum now.
curveballs in the process because when we filed, I made the appointment to register the birth abroad. Okay, and I figured I'd have to come back later and deal with doing a passport. But a couple of days ago, right before we flew here, I got an email from the consulate saying, oh, at the same time, you can download this paperwork and file for her passport in the same appointment. I was like, great, wonderful. I downloaded the file, I printed it, I glanced through it, and in retrospect, should have read the entire document. I did not, and I missed that I needed to have a passport photo.
I was talking about a different conundrum.
I know, that one's coming. There's 2 conundrums.
Stay tuned.
So we had to leave the consulate, go to a pharmacy, get a passport photo taken. We pay for it, and then the lady who comes out who's going to take the photo goes, oh, that's a baby? I can't do baby photos. And so I said, don't worry, I'm a photographer. She gave me her camera, and then we took about, I don't know, 50 different photos, finally got one that fit the right parameters. Like both of Eliana's ears needed to be showing, and it couldn't be at an angle, and it couldn't be a smile.
And you're taking photos of a 3-month-old.
Yeah, you know,
That
there's a
can be
lot of
difficult.
squirming. So it was like kind of blurry. Anyways, we managed to get one done. We got the photo printed, we went back to the consulate, and we filed all the paperwork. And then once it's all filed, the guy's like, great, this is good, we have everything we need. And, oh, you're not traveling abroad, are you soon? And we were like, yeah, we're going back to the States. And he's like, oh, when are you going? And we're like, very soon, a couple of weeks from now. And he was like, oh, well,
Now that she's a U.S. citizen, she can only enter the U.S. with her U.S. passport.
Yes.
So we currently in hand have Eliana's New Zealand passport, and we were so excited to have that in hand because we were like, okay, she can travel now. Everything
We're
else
like,
is just...
If we don't have the U.S. passport, it's fine. Eliana can travel on
Yeah.
her Kiwi passport.
We were like, everything else is just a cherry on top. We've got her documentation to travel. Nope. Now that she's a U.S. citizen...
Now that we've filed for the citizenship, she cannot travel to the United States until she has a U.S. passport.
So he asked us when we were traveling, and he assured us, nah, you should be fine in this timeline. We're going to expedite it. It's sort of a normal expedite. And he said, you know, if you were leaving in a week, we could do an emergency passport.
Sorry.
Oh!
Are you okay? Are your ovaries okay?
Are
What just
my
happened?
breast milk boobs
Are
okay?
your
It's the
breasts
real
okay?
question.
We gotta make sure that those
Just something. You know what
No,
motherhood
keep
is?
going.
You know what motherhood is? Is literally sacrificing yourself, because the first thought I had was that I thought I wasn't holding Eliana,
Yeah.
or that I wasn't Eliana.
and then the
And
second
the other
thought-
day we were driving in the car and a car was coming towards us, and not towards us, but I had a flash of like, what if that car hit us on the side? And I thought to myself, well, it's good that it would hit me first.
Yeah, exactly. She laughed.
Ow.
Okay, so we managed to get everything done, but now we're in this awkward situation where hopefully her passport arrives, because if it doesn't, we won't be able, well, we'll be able to travel, but she won't be able to
Which means we won't travel.
enter the country, so we're not gonna go. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. It's been really interesting kind of navigating all of these different little loops.
Something I did just think about is like, maybe it would have been a tad bit better if we would have filed for her US citizenship when we got to the States.
Yeah, but then I'm not sure. I don't know. I think that there's probably less people doing it here, and
That's
they have
what
the
I've
same
heard.
services.
From what
so
I've heard, it's easier to do here.
I think, yeah,
So, we're gonna get it in time.
it's gonna be
My
fine.
boobs hurt now.
It's okay. I'll help you. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you want more content like this, where I explain this process of dual citizenship in more detail, as well as how we applied and the various different hoops we had to jump through, please let me know by commenting down there in the comment section of this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button, and we will see you very soon in some upcoming vlogs from abroad. Okay, see you on the road. Peace. Hey, don't go anywhere. I got plenty more videos for you to watch. So check out either of these two, and don't forget to subscribe. All right, see you in the next video.